Say good evening. It's just work that's on right now. We are awaiting the arrival of the commissioners, but we're going to call the meeting to order just in case anybody else shows up. So we can keep reminding them. I'd like to call this Board of Education study session with the county commissioners to order. It is August 12th, 2025, and it is 4:30 p.m.
Flanagan. Here. Haig. Here. King. Here. McHugh. Here. North.
Here.
I'd like to move to approve the agenda.
Second. Flanagan.
Yes.
Haig.
Yes.
King. Yes. McHugh.
Yes.
North.
Yes. So do you have an ETA or?
I would say 15 minutes at this point, at the earliest.
Okay,
It took me a little over 20 minutes to get here, so.
okay.
Do you have any jokes? No? Okay.
We're here.
We're here.
Dad joke.
How about that weather?
What else the ready? Ready. Should be.
Yeah.
Feels really weird. It feels really weird to say it out loud. Like I'm trying to look busy, but I can't. I feel weird. This is weird. It's a good time for a computer update though, so I
just
mean,
did mine,
I'm
so.
7% there. I have plenty of time.
I know, right? It's just.
I don't like that. Yeah.
So you're saying.
Okay. I mean, it just made me super sweaty, just like immediately sweat. Okay, and because I'm scared.
It's just driving.
Yeah, dad jokes are great.
So why do crabs never volunteer?
What's that?
Why do crabs never volunteer?
Shellfish.
Oh, good one, Ethan. Good one. You have dad jokes on lock now. Didn't even take a full year. That was good work.
What is a shark's favorite saying?
I don't know.
I don't know.
You're gonna need a bigger boat? Ethan?
This one's got me.
Okay.
A little vague.
Man overboard.
Oh, good one.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did one slice of bread say to the other slice of bread before the race?
Your toast.
Yes. Excellent.
I had a quiet game of tennis today. There was no racket.
I'm worried we're gonna have to start every meeting with a series of jokes. If we're not careful,
New
this
tradition now.
is gonna become a precedent.
I feel like we forgot this.
I know, I know. We need a little bit of.
Best interview ever.
You're right, you're right.
We should start our meetings out with that.
Yeah, and then 3 good dad jokes.
That was, oh, man.
That's really good.
What kind of shoes do frogs wear?
Open toed, I knew that. I was waiting for that.
Why do melons have weddings? Why do melons have weddings?
Because they can't elope.
Like
Yes. Okay, that's my favorite one.
What did the bracelet say to his son when he left the ranch?
My son.
Yeah. None of our content is gonna be this fun.
I'm so good at fixing things. My motto is, if it's broke, I'll still fix it.
Yep.
Oh, this is a hard one. Where do the pumpkins have their meeting? Where do the pumpkins have their meeting? In the gourd room.
All right, I wouldn't have gotten there. I
Yeah.
was kept
Yeah, that was
pumpkin
hard.
patch.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit more
Yeah.
like professional.
Okay.
Is anybody gonna watch the meteor shower tonight?
Good night, yeah.
Oh, I
It
hope
was
to
kind of cloudy and
very
fresh
sleepy
over there.
by then.
Yeah.
I hope to be hours asleep by then. Like as many as possible.
This full moon was one of those full moons that woke me up. you know,
It was so bright.
bright.
Yes, it was so bright. Well, and then I had a couple nights where I woke up like from dead asleep because I thought my house was on fire because
Because
the
it's so-
smoke was so
Yeah,
bad.
yes, yeah.
That like it woke me up from a dead sleep.
Yeah.
It smelled so close, like it was really like my backyard, and then a low plane or helicopter or something
Really?
flew over too, so I don't know.
I don't feel like I got that much
Down
smoke
the next
until
hour, we go back to sleep.
Yeah, like the dogs are
Is that on
crazy, it's like
Saturday?
close all the windows, and it's like, you
Oh,
gotta
yeah,
walk
it
those
was
windows,
actually.
don't you?
I
It's like
just-
foggy.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
closer.
Yeah, exactly.
And I couldn't figure if it was from the Meeker fire that maybe the helicopters were going, or was one in Leadville and one in Eagle, because the flight path was a little odd.
One in Craig,
Go
too.
over, yeah.
Just past Empire Junction.
So let me see if I can calculate
Joe, there's
that.
one car ahead of that car.
I was gonna say, who's driving?
All three separate.
All 3 separately. Perfect.
Yeah, so we're gonna go 11 and 17 on that.
Yeah, I'm guessing 5 that they will be.
Yeah.
All 3.
How'd you hear so fast? Were you with
He
them?
wasn't out in the,
I wasn't with them. I didn't know the
Oh,
two.
okay.
What did they tour?
Geneva Basin, Iron Fence. But I think it's kind of way up there.
It really is, and it's beautiful.
What are they doing up there?
It's open space that,
Oh, cool.
they're doing tours with the Open Space Commission,
Oh, nice.
various spots that we purchased.
Oh, that's cool.
It's moose territory.
Mhm. That's where those guys live, huh?
It's where Samson hangs.
Mm-hmm. I knew he was up there.
Brian, do you feel like you have enough information to give us on the Dumont, Lawson, Downeyville study? And then maybe we can get that discussion?
I can, although there's 2 of the 3 commissioners who will probably want to comment on that.
Gotcha.
Um,
I just know our time's gonna be short once we
Sure.
do show
We
up.
haven't, we completed that study, but we have not really, not implemented any of the recommendations yet. We applied for a grant to help us do a study of the streets and then the pedestrian access in that neighborhood to
Sure.
it's called a Safer Streets Grant.
Mm.
And you have to go through this process where they do an evaluation of all the streets first, before we can then become eligible for federal dollars to do safety improvements. That's probably the most significant thing we've done, because that was one of the big concerns in the neighborhood, was the lack of sidewalks, the lack of, so many folks are walking in that neighborhood. You have to
No,
go
they definitely are,
Street.
yeah.
Is there an update on the shooting range? Like, what's going on with that?
Shooting range is delayed until spring, due to the chaos at the federal level. There's a CPW grant that they get through the feds that we're waiting on. The construction you see along the road right now is the sewer connection, so we're making a sewer connection. It's actually starting at the new RV park that you see on that road.
Mhm.
So we're both connecting to the sand district there by the road and bridge area. But we're waiting on grants for the shooting shed, create soundproofing not soundproofing, but help with the sound in the neighborhoods surrounding there. So we're probably looking at spring.
Is it looking okay on the grant side? I mean, for funding on that, or is there an alternative? Because things aren't looking great. on the
Specific
grant
to
side.
shooting range, you mean, or just in general?
Shooting range, yeah,
No, it's not looking good. We
Yeah.
need that grant. There's no really other grants that we can apply for right now. And
right.
given the state of our general fund, so we're using the grant match that we had already identified
Mhm.
to the CPW grant, at least to get the sewer work done, which could expedite getting the other work done if we can get the actual
Gotcha.
CPW grant.
Have you guys talked to any about the tree situation? The dead trees, it seems like they're just multiplying
Yeah,
daily.
I know the fire authority is working on that. There's probably going to be a public meeting in Idaho Springs. I think, at least that's some of the emails I'm seeing, getting a lot of questions about those trees. They've actually been dead for over a year and a half. They were dead as they were standing there green, is what the fire authority was telling us. So it's gonna be a major issue for sure, but we haven't really identified what we're gonna be able to do about it.
But yeah, you don't know they're dead until a year later. Yeah, they start to hollow it out and then, oh yeah, then it dies for the next season. Not awkward. Not at all.
What's awkward?
What?
Nothing.
Do you think the county will get to the point with the dead trees that they'll start addressing them with the homeowners that just aren't taking care of the trees on their property?
Yeah, so we just adopted the new CWPP, which stands for Consolidated Wildfire Protection Plan, I think. That's going to address some of that, in terms of mitigation that's required of homes.
Right,
And then we also required via some state legislation to adopt the wildland interface code that relates to building. It's related to wildfire and building codes. And so that will probably give us some teeth. But we really haven't, other than those two things, have not started the conversation yet.
got it.
In terms of what the county's role is gonna be in that, given the majority of, a lot of the dead trees are in Forest Service land.
Right, yeah. I think we got lucky on the west end just because we have the state in Georgetown doing all of that incredible work that they've done on their property
Yeah.
up there. I think that's helped our
There seems to
end.
be less dead trees on that end too, right? So
Absolutely, they've cleared out tons of trees, and they've been doing it for the last 10 years. So, it's been a multi-year project, but they had state money to do it. It's always a little weird to be on the train and see big old lumberjack crews out there.
It's good though.
It's really good, yeah. And then they gave away all of the trees for firewood to people, and they would try to find indigent people to give the trees to, and that sort of thing. But, yeah,
There's an entrepreneurship class in the making here.
something there,
Like
yes. Totem
forest
pole.
health and how to do your physics calculation to make sure when you cut the tree down, it doesn't land on your head.
There could be some
And then-
aspects.
Chainsaw safety.
Chainsaw safety.
OSHA class.
What do we do with the product?
Yeah, let's just take all the
Make it
kids
into
out there.
skis, we make it into furniture. I mean, I feel like there's something in our outdoor rec and tech space that could be a very nice fit for all of our dead trees.
Used to have fire science.
Yes, exactly. It's like, you think about career pathways and pipelines. It's like a lot of kids want to go into fire safety, first responder, search and rescue, and all those things out there. It's like, this is a nice way to understand beyond your Smokey Bear classes.
Hoping to propose a course to you all, program that includes all those things, that's interdisciplinary, so that we can attract kids to the school district to get certifications, so they can actually go out and say, I'm certified in forest management, fire
Right.
prevention,
Huge.
EMT, EMS type
Yes.
stuff, yeah.
It's just the through line is really clear to me that you could find a way to do something
Right.
about the problem without, spend some money, but, these are kind of like some good labor.
Well, it's interesting now, they have these machines, because in my neighborhood, they have these they look like bobcats, but they grab a tree, they cut it, they lay it down, and it chops it up. And they just hear this thing going around, the neighborhood just cut
Chop,
trees
chop,
down.
chop.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and
It's
I
all
had to
done by
have a
machines now.
Yeah. I had to have a tree taken down, but they did it old school. They sent a guy way the heck up
No,
there.
thank you.
And then he chopped up the first half, and then he wrote down just a little further and chopped
Yeah.
up. It was nerve wracking.
Super nerve wracking.
And they have that thing tied to another rope that you're just hoping doesn't swing into your house.
Totally.
Yeah.
Better than the tree falling on your house.
Yes, this is why. We had
What
to
is your
move the
math
squirrels
equation
down.
to not hit the house?
What would the insurance cost be if this happened?
Right.
Risk benefits,
Right.
do a lot of different pieces.
Right.
But yeah, I was totally impressed. And I said to the boss guy, I'm like, so you guy you sent up there, he's not married, doesn't have kids, does he?
This is technically,
Right.
it's like hazy. Yeah,
Exactly.
send you up there a couple times first.
He's like, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Carrie Ann, the ballot question that we put on here is gonna be a potential for a mill levy increase for the fire authority to help be more proactive in fire mitigation. So that's what you're gonna hear the commissioners talk about
Okay, good.
when they get here. That's what that ballot question is.
I think the fire authority far past do that. You're on the fire authority board now, right?
I am.
I bought a piece of property in St. Mary's so I can apply again.
That's good.
For development.
No, to be on the fire authority.
That's one way to do it.
They don't need a representative from Georgetown. It didn't go down the one way.
It did not,
No.
that's good.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Well, the far right lane was closed.
was it?
Yeah.
I drove it.
Yeah.
Oh.
You were in the left lane when you passed me. It opened back up by the time we did.
Oh, I see. I never even caught that it was closed.
Yeah, the right-
I was just doing the zip, you know, very carefully and safely within speed limits.
Definitely
Of
within.
course.
speed limit.
Absolutely,
All the
always.
time.
All the time.
Always.
All the time.
And I don't know why somebody has never opened up a smoothie shop or coffee shop at the bottom there before you turn. That would be such a.
We had a gold shop when I
There are
first
some
moved here.
areas.
Here at the bottom of Floyd Hill.
Right,
As
yeah.
you come in, yeah, there was a food truck, it was lovely, but she sold it just before COVID and then they
Oh, yeah.
built that.
I
big
kind of remember
metal
that.
building.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, because the order, as you were driving and just pull off and pick it up and then get back on the highway.
Seems like it would be a gold mine. And then they could sell beer on their way out of the meeting.
We'd all be there like bumpers honking.
Right.
Yeah.
I can also share our new executive director for the Regional Housing Authority started.
For the what, who?
Last week was his first day. I'm sorry,
I didn't hear the
the
last.
Regional Housing Authority
Oh,
executive director
gotcha,
started
yeah,
last
so we
week.
hired,
Yes,
Fantastic.
most recently HUD.
Oh, great.
He was flown around the United States to re-stand up failing housing authorities.
Okay.
So
That's
he
a
would
good
go in and
gig.
serve as an acting executive director and kind of clean house.
That's good. And started, you said today?
Last week.
Awesome. What's?
He's coming to the meeting tomorrow, so we're going.
He is good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
David
great.
Corder is his name.
That's great.
Oh, no.
somebody did not get their keys today. I'll figure it out. Where will they be officed?
In the Health and Wellness Center, Night House Springs.
Oh, okay, that makes
We gave them a cut rate deal for a year to get stood up.
sense. Well, I heard you guys had a flood at the, pretty good one, right?
You know, half our basement is
Under,
unusable right now.
and then there's asbestos as well
Yes,
in that area? Oh my gosh. That's a bit of a process,
yes,
not a fun one.
no,
But I understand the archives are okay.
they are.
Yeah, that's
Didn't
pretty
lose
great.
anything in there,
Yeah,
just some carpet, but
Yeah.
no documents.
Aaron, did we have any flooding on any of our places?
Just Georgetown.
Right, I saw that one, yeah. That's for the town.
Brian,
Yeah.
did you get my note?
Yeah.
About the fire,
Fire.
Wagging some fingers.
spring fire.
Uh-huh.
We were at the Iron Fence, and on our way back, we found this big fire ring with a smoldering fire in the middle of it with no one around. And they
Oh,
threw in this
that's so
big
awful.
log, I know, and just left it smoldering. So we got out all our water bottles and emptied that on it, and then found a creek that was kind of gnarly, but then dumped all the brown
They're very
water on top
colorful
of it. Anyway, I sent you a picture of a campsite, And I don't know if you wanna send it to Max or what we need to do with the National Forest or the Forest Ranger.
We let them know that we're not using
Of course.
So we did go ahead and start the meeting, so, well, we're just waiting.
Well, we
on David,
figured since
so,
we're only 25 minutes late.
Yeah.
Maybe now we should start though.
Yeah.
I don't think we.
So, we have quorum.
Yep.
So there were a few different topics that you all sent to us to discuss, and the first being the sale of Old Carlson, the elementary school building, and we really don't have any new information. We're still under the same contract, but Wes brought some additional information in case you had questions, and I think you were asking whether the sale of that building would eliminate any financial stress that we're experiencing as a district, and I'm going to say no. The sale of a building will help us with some of our additional building repairs, but those dollars have to stay within
Capital.
Thank you. Words, yeah. So it does not help us with increasing teacher pay. We can be, I don't know, Wes seems to have some ideas on how we might be able to creatively move some things around so that we can access a little bit of funds, but those are not ongoing dollars that we're creating. It's a one-time.
But at least you won't have to keep paying capital expenses on the old building.
Correct. Correct.
That's right.
We will eliminate those ongoing electric trash that we were paying. So,
we have a dumpster?
yes. But yeah, did you have additional questions around that or?
No.
Okay,
The board did submit a support letter for the Light
I
Tech
saw
project,
that, thank you.
as did the Regional Housing Authority Board too.
Great.
Thank you.
They seem to be doing the diligence and jumping through the fire hoops to get the thing done, so certainly hope they get it done.
welcome.
Hello, apologies, we were out touring critical county facilities.
I filled them in.
Yes. The second topic was impacts of the new federal legislation, the big beautiful bill on the school district, and I think Wes probably had the best updated numbers. We did have some slightly positive news in the last few weeks, but yeah.
So fortunately for us, they have released the funds for title funds. So I mentioned this when Joe Nikos was meeting with us in Georgetown. So it was basically about $100,000 they were holding from us. So that has been released at this point. The question came up, as I mentioned at that meeting, was there have been conversations from CDE and other organizations that fall legislative session could be very important, especially for school funding, because there's a lot of talk about rescinding funds and pulling back and cutting. As Joe mentioned, he says he doesn't feel that's the case with the only one vote approving recent legislative action in July. He feels that we won't be having that situation, so I'm trusting that he has the inside information to see how it plays out this fall. But it's very concerning, especially with the issue with the governor pulling together a special session to cover $1 billion in shortfall, and his recent suggestion that we take funds from free reduced lunch to cover SNAP could have significant impacts on our food service to our kids who are most vulnerable. And so I know there's a proposal, put a ballot issue coming up this November to hopefully increase funding for free reduced lunch, but I don't know how that's going to play out with the current legislative session, how they're going to address the shortfall.
Especially since as a state, we voted for free breakfast and lunch for all students, so.
Right, but unfortunately,
underfunded, yeah.
the budget was not actually what it cost, and so that's the problem we're facing is the money
So
that.
they're
it
just moving
proposes.
dollars around, it's not actually
Right.
improving our situation.
Right.
So. But yeah, that's the federal side. I think
Right.
we're a little more concerned about what changes might happen at the state level.
Right.
Do you know how much that service costs you guys a year?
Previous lunch, I do not have that information in front of me, sorry.
That's okay.
I want to say our shortfall was in like the 60 to 70,000 range.
Yeah, closer to 75, I thought.
Okay. But yeah, we can, I mean, it's, yeah, so those are
We
coming out of
definitely
general
have
fund.
shortfall.
Yes.
Related to this potential ballot measure, which I anticipate we will support, is an effort related to SNAP, if there's excess funds in that state ballot measure. The news about SNAP seems to get worse every time I open my email, food stamps.
Correct.
And there's conversations around if there's anything extra in that ballot measure, could it help backfill SNAP benefits? So, and that's something that I think we would support as well, as the administrators of that program.
Hopefully the legislative session maybe will put wording into the ballot that will increase the amount of funding so that you can do that. Because I think the current way it was presented was just to cover the current needs of schools. So to do that, you're going to have additional funding. So I totally agree with you. We try to figure that out.
Yeah, and I'm not inside of that conversation by any means, but I'm aware that it's being had and on team. Let's see what we can do for SNAP too.
Yeah, totally agree.
I could offer a little bit on this subject. It's sort of what was described and sort of not. The original calculation for funding free breakfast and free lunch for school-age kids in Colorado yielded this result. And other economists have said actually as a result of some of the significant tax deductions and changes that individual taxpayers are going to have, they actually are going to have more money than what they needed to cover the school meals. And so the question was, what do we do with the excess dollars after the school meals component is done? But they believe they will collect more than what schools needed. So then that was the thought of how can we use excess funds to support SNAP administration in two buckets of the actual county administered part of SNAP and the part of outreach and education. And, and then it's different organizations that do the outreach and education for the SNAP benefits. And so trying to figure out how to kind of thread that needle that you're not overly educating and outreaching on a program that is underfunded, but that you are providing the proper support services for the constituents that need it, that then can go to a county that actually has the capability to deliver on the benefit. So what the question is at the legislative session is, do we rewrite the ballot title and language to include that? Because right now they can't include that unless that passes through the General Assembly, which I believe looks promising in that regard, but it wouldn't impact our bucket for meals. So schools would be kept whole, if there's such a thing,
So at the current,
at the current rate of
Which
what
is
is needed,
still
which is still
short for us.
75,000 less than what we need, but it's not taking further or diluting. So it's really to make sure that this pot stays whole, and also if there are excess dollars, it should go to this program in these two buckets. So I think it's just a slightly nuanced piece, but wanting to make sure that everybody knows that we won't get a ding on it, because the most important priority, as the ballot title has already passed, is maintaining the integrity of that original intent.
Thank you for clarifying.
Sure.
any other questions? Okay. The county's 2025 ballot questions and tax proposals, so.
Just one more thing on impacts of the federal legislation. Medicaid and SNAP, beginning towards the end of next year. Kelly, you can help me out here, given your dual role. It's gonna be a big burden on county administration of those programs, a significant burden. And I know, as I perceive it, our job related to the school district is to deliver kids that are well-fed and have the medical care they need, et cetera. That mission is about to become a lot harder.
Housing vouchers. They're going away.
The paperwork requirements to be eligible for Medicaid are going to be fairly difficult for people to get through. they're gonna be very difficult for counties to administer with the state of the software in the state of Colorado. And one of the quirks of this legislation is that if you apply for Medicaid and you make a mistake in your application, you are not eligible for the subsidies on the individual market. And so the stakes are very high for people that want to apply for Medicaid right now. The Clear Creek County has historically funded 2 benefits positions to do this work. Historically, one of them has been vacant, I think my entire time in office, more or less. We've had people come in and we have not had a sustainable employee there for a long time. So we'll be looking, I think, when we discuss our budget pretty carefully at what is the right wage to make sure we're fully staffed there as we approach a significant workload burden associated with these new paperwork requirements, the doubling of the SNAP verifications, et cetera. And so that's going to be a big challenge on families and kids. And it's one that we have our eyes on, making sure that we can be as effective as possible. Talking to organizations like the Jefferson Center for Mental Health about what they can do to help make sure that their clients are able to navigate this system. It's a bit of an all hands on deck moment in helping families get through all this red tape. So if you all have any ideas about, like an example is an organization called Benefits in Action that helps people file their taxes. They sit in the library and they help people file their taxes. I think we're going to need to try to stand up some services like that, or find some statewide service providers that want to focus here, because we know our population on the west side of the county is, the poverty is about as acute as anywhere else in the state. So something that we're very focused on.
Thanks. So back to the county's 2025 ballot questions and text proposals. Are there details?
Well, Brian mentioned the mill levy for the fire authority.
So they started peppering you with questions while you were gone.
Yeah, the poor guy, you should have seen him, the
You were on
flashlight
the
was
spot.
right on his eyes.
I'm sure he did great.
He made up all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, well, we've been talking with the municipalities for going on 2 years now about how to fully fund and properly govern the fire department. That conversation has evolved towards public safety writ large. There's needs in every public safety agency in the county.
With a focus on the fire authority and EMS.
That's how the conversation has narrowed in the last few months, yes, is that it looks like the step to take this year is a proposal for a property tax increase in the Emergency Services General Improvement District, which is the unincorporated portion of the Fire Authority Protection District. So somewhere around here in Floyd Hill, it goes from Fire Authority to Evergreen Fire Rescue. You probably know exactly where that line is.
The line is just west of me.
And so that whole unincorporated area, we're likely to put on the ballot, and we'll decide late in August, a 6.89 mil increase to fund fire at the same rate that the municipalities are currently funding Clear Creek Fire Authority, and add a couple of mils worth of funding to Clear Creek EMS. Both of those systems are in a budget deficit. The Fire Authority, without any changes, is out of fund dollars within a few years. The Clear Creek EMS fund will hit zero a few months into next year if nothing changes. And in addition to that, there are needs on both sides. The Fire Authority needs to expand its wildfire mitigation program. We would love to do a better job with this community wildfire protection plan than with the last one, where between 2008 and 2025, I think we completed 2 or less of the projects in that plan. Then on the EMS side, there's a critical need for a third ambulance. We have the ambulance, we need the staff. The most telling way to describe the workload they're under is that when there's 2 teams right now at any given time. When they get the second call, and if one bus is already out of town, when they get the second call, they call Gilpin County to be on standby. When Gilpin County is on standby, the response times are lower. And they have $1,000 surcharge for what they charge for services to Clear Creek residents versus Gilpin County residents. We also, and this is not to say that what Gilpin County does medically is not good. I'm sure it's good. What Clear Creek does medically is great. We have and I have so much pride in this, and so do you, and we both know why. Our 3-year average cardiac save rate is 24%. The national average is 7. It is an out of this world program, and we can do better than having to ask Gilpin to be on standby every 3 days. So that's what this ballot measure will aspire to be able to fund. It will not solve the problem for either agency, and it doesn't even discuss the sheriff's office. So this is a first step, and it's an important step.
And it's further important because the fire department has not had a mill levy increase since 1988. So our population hasn't changed, but our needs have certainly changed. We have, much greater wildfire risk, and we also have an aging population. The fire department helps people when, either before or while EMS is there, for little things. Their basement is flooding and they can't get down the stairs to turn off the water. The fire department will show up and do that for them. So it's a need for the county, and it will help us all, including our school kids, if we can have a little bit more robust fire department and EMS.
It's also for just unincorporated area, just so everybody knows. This is not for Idaho Springs or Georgetown ballot measures.
Right, they're already paid.
This just gets the unincorporated area up to what the municipalities are already contributing, and Evergreen Fire. So it's just kind of makes everybody paying the same amount. It's not anymore, it's not a bigger ask. It's just to get everybody even.
So the hard question, because what you said is all very scary. And I think we would all agree that yes, we should all vote yes on this, but what's the plan if voters disagree with that and they vote no? How do we make sure that we have good response times at EMS? How do we make sure that we're still delivering essential services at the quality that our residents expect? What's the backup plan?
Hey, we could do a lot of pancake breakfasts. Just kidding.
Yeah.
We used to
That's
do
what I
those. I think right now our biggest thing is we're just trying to get the word out. We're doing town halls. We've noticed a lot of people change their minds in those town halls. They came to the town halls thinking, I'm not going to pay for any more taxes. This county is just blowing money. This isn't for our budget. This isn't for the general use for us. It's literally for just the fire authority and EMS. And we've got to get out there and educate people. This is for the locals. This isn't for tourists. This is, we've got the aging community, and we want, people to make these calls and somebody to show up. We do have a lot of people that live on the outskirts, not living in the municipality. So it is harder to get to them, and they have to understand that. We've had this anti-development group, and when they show up, we say, then would you rather pay more in taxes? Because that's what we're looking at, is if you want this quality of life, we're going to have to pay for it. The backup is not good.
It's not.
Remind me when the wildfire went from being under the purview of county sheriff, and it seems like it's slating towards the fire authority?
Are you talking about mitigation specifically?
Yeah. Or wildfire response even, is that being folded into the fire authority now?
I didn't know it was ever under the sheriff.
It was, absolutely.
Statutorily,
Statutory.
it is under the sheriff. The sheriff
Right,
is the
okay.
fire marshal, and that remains, that's in statute.
So do they have a budget for wildfire as well? Because they used to carry the budget for that.
No, I mean,
They
our
don't have fire trucks or
our-
firemen. What? I don't understand that piece of history.
Our Office of Emergency Management, housed in the county, has some planning related efforts. The budget impacts of paying for a fire I think it's complicated about who, if there are big costs from a fire, would be paying between the fire authority and the county. Operationally, statute states that the sheriff is the marshal during a fire.
Mhm.
And I think that this sheriff and the past sheriff and the sheriff before that all defer to the experts in the fire departments. It's important to know that a wildland fire is likely to be on US Forest Service land.
Right.
And it doesn't, by the time it's, I'll say, very big, that's completely a federal response. Not completely, like our folks help, but we focus on the initial attack. And
Gotcha.
it pretty quickly scales up to Division of Fire Prevention and Control and then US Forest Service.
So you had mentioned that our population has not increased so much, but yet we need a third ambulance. Is that because of the aging population, or is that, I mean, it has nothing to do with I-70?
It's a bunch of things.
It's the mountain bike park apparently has a lot more EMS response than they were anticipating. A lot of what attracts people to Clear Creek County, I can't remember who made the joke, but a lot of our activities are activities that require helmets, you know? Biking,
I did, like,
skiing,
you
river
look-
rafting.
Yeah, we attract these people up and they do, you know, almost everything, skiing, mountain biking, it's all extreme sport stuff. And they come up here for the thrill of that. Whether they're, we have a part too of an education that we need to educate people that when it's not just backyard stuff that you're getting into and then they get into trouble and they call EMS. There's a lot of those that could be avoided had they had the knowledge. And that's something we're talking about with like NOCO apps, you know before you go type stuff. Be prepared with the proper equipment too. We have people that go up there in their flip flops.
Or could there be
They're gonna,
signage, like, my daughter went rafting closer to Moab this summer, it was like, big red sign, very dangerous, this or that. Cause I do think the tourists are draining our resources. I mean, I was listening to the scanner last night, there's 5 calls at once.
yeah,
And it's like,
yeah, the highway
it's
was
insane
crazy.
to listen to the scanner, what happens in the scanning.
Call volume is up from both segments, right? Locals are calling more. And obviously, visitors are calling more. To the extent that this leads us into a conversation about property taxation versus sales taxation. When we ran the sales tax for EMS, the number was at 70% of sales taxes paid by visitors. That number is much lower today. The change since then is that we now pay sales tax on things that are delivered, and we shop a lot on Amazon. And so that's shifted. And when you're thinking about property tax, keep in mind that commercial properties pay 4 times, you guys know this, right? You're a property taxing entity as well. So in that tax base is things that are not in the sales tax base. Loveland Ski Area, Echo Park, right? Those lift tickets don't pay sales tax. Those raft trips don't pay sales tax, but they do pay commercial property tax. So they capture different segments of the visitation population, and I think you kind of need a mix of both. Right now, EMS is all sales tax, fire is all property tax. And we probably over the long run need to get a mix of both into both agencies.
A state level ballot issue to tax services, recreational services.
The legislature certainly could choose to do that.
So the legislature would have to initiate.
Yes, simple majorities and a governor's signature could do that. We've been working on, that is the latest version of what Clear Creek has been working on is trying to get authority to our voters to say the tax rate on things like raft trips and lift tickets should be more than 0.
But we need the state's permission
Yeah.
to be able to do that. And it's an education thing for our other counties. A lot of counties don't know the value of it. And part of our job in the various lobbying groups we have to belong to in order to protect our county is to convince them that what's good for us can also be good for them. Chaffey County, George was proposing this the other night, and Chaffey County goes, well, our river rafters will jump down my throat if I voted for this. And he quickly shot back, but your business owners will see that as a more fair distribution of taxes because their brick and mortar store, they have to pay taxes on everything.
Main Street loves this idea. The most staunch anti-tax folks on Minor Street in Idaho Springs love this idea because they know the alternative. So
Even if it was a low tax, just to get her.
Just to
foot in the door.
capture them.
Yeah.
I mean, but not to be mean or harsh, but I mean, the reality is this governor will never sign that. I mean, did you see the article in the
It
Denver
may be
Post
a
over the
twenty
weekend?
twenty-seven kind
You know,
of.
where he's banking that his legacy is the explosion of outdoor recreation. So the last thing he's gonna do on his way out, last legislative session, is tax outdoor recreation. So I think we have to have long-term.
And that,
strategy.
I just wanna, I wish I could just sit down with him and say, when I go skiing at Loveland and I'm paying $100 a ski ticket, I don't really care that I have to pay an extra $2 in taxes. That's not a barrier to that kind of recreation.
So we presented to the governor's office and we'll see what the outcome is from that. The concept is modeled after the lodging tax and so is the rhetoric, which is the recreation service industry is an industry that can grow, they can formalize, and they can use public investment to do so. So a lot like the lodging tax, where some of that money goes to support that industry, this would too, right? And our rafting industry is on dirt put-ins and takeouts on the side of roads. The thing they talk to us the most about is we need you to invest more in us, and this is a tool for them to do that. So we'll see where the governor lands. I wanna sort of pitch in on the response to your question about what our other options are. We're gonna need to be in Clear Creek County asking tax questions. Neither of these two things affect our general fund. Our general fund has a $7 million structural deficit, you know that. We're gonna have to continue to ask questions and have a back and forth dialogue with the voters about the right tax structure. Until we take it home that either we have the revenues we need to sustain the services we have, or we're gonna have a lower level of services across the county. And so, you know, the immediate backup plan isn't slash services if this doesn't pass. It's learn your lessons, restructure, try again. It's take strategic cuts where you have to. And we don't have an emergency today, but it is close enough that we need to ask the question.
Fire authority thinks they're a couple years out from, I mean, literally they would have to start laying off people. And we're already seeing the call times going up. So you're looking at, you know, somebody having a heart attack or something. Are we gonna be able to get to them in time? Are we gonna be able to get to that house to stop a fire because our volunteers are coming up from Denver?
Right.
We need people in the community. We need paid staff so that they can stay there and be ready to go, because that one house that catches on fire could end up catching the entire mountainside. And it's at a severe stage to me.
So just thinking about education and how complicated of a question that is to start to educate voters about, like, it's for you, not for you, you pay, you don't pay. I mean, there's just
It is
so many
complicated.
complicated factors to that. I have two questions. Is one, if the county is running this as a county tax, do you get the benefit of then having the firefighters and the paramedics promoting it and asking people to vote yes on? Are they able to? Because I think if they can, they should. Because I think people are very prone to support first responders. And if it's a county question, then it feels like maybe that is a gray area and you guys can't then advocate for it, but maybe they could, even though it's for them. So that's my first question. And then the second question is how can we be supportive in helping educate? Because once you have your meeting and you get it on the ballot, you guys have to get out. So how do we help bring forward this complicated but really critical idea and concept to help people understand?
Yeah, I mean, a lot like your educators, firefighters, paramedics, me, Jody, Rebecca, fully enjoy our First Amendment rights to do what we want in our personal lives and advocate for what we want in our personal lives. I know in my personal life, I'll be out there advocating for this, and I'll certainly be inviting firefighters and paramedics to do so. as a choice that they have.
Recognizing they don't have a lot of free time.
Right, I mean, this is what I'm concerned about is, this is so important and it doesn't, it feels like we need structure to be able to effectively run a campaign beyond just only do this in your free time with the people that want to talk to you. Like, how do we make this more impactful countywide than hoping that people in their free time convince 3 people to vote for it and then they do? I just don't know that is.
We have thought about that, like a website, signs, you've seen what the sheriff did. He had people going out, him specifically didn't go out.
Right.
There's groups, we know that we have support, behind the scenes too, of being able to build kind of this coalition. And it's my understanding though, it's the ESGID that's going to be proposing this.
We are the board of the Emergency Services General Improvement District. What that means is that the municipalities, they should talk to their own attorneys, you should talk to your own attorneys. The other local governments, including the school district, can, I think, have meetings about it, and issue support for it, right? Whether that's proclamations or resolutions or whatever that looks like.
And
But it's,
we've also been going across the county. Tuesday night was our 6th town hall, from Evergreen to Georgetown to St. Mary's. Getting the word out, talking to people, asking people to pass the word to their friends and family and neighbors. And we found that, if people are initially reluctant to say, oh, all right, maybe I'll vote for that, because they don't want to pay any more taxes. After they listen to all the steps the county has gone through, to try to get, our town hall presentation was mostly on our revenue stream and our issues in the county. But when we're proposing this one, people are saying, okay, that makes sense, I understand. And so, that's, we feel like that's part of our job, is to go out and talk to everyone, to educate people on the need and what we're seeking from them. And, just kind of laying out the facts. It's educating people. And if the voters ultimately say no, we're like, okay, go back to Plan B. What are we gonna do next year to try to save our county? But
I do worry about the messaging and just in the conversations that I've had with folks on, and that's where you guys are gonna have the hardest job, right? Why should I pay for the people coming up to recreate? Why should I pay for the guy that's being a real ding dong, whatever they're doing? So, and then taking it out of my property tax dollars to do that. So I think that your task is to get that information and equate what those recreation dollars do for our community and the flip side, instead of them stopping right there with that statement, right? So we've got to more than educate, like really educate.
Jeremy Jones is really good at that. He has a lot of stats that says, hey, these were the calls, say 10 years ago, but you look at the calls now and cardiac arrest. That's not the tourists those are our aging community. Do we want to take care of our aging community? I would think so. That's our old teachers and, firefighters that took care of this community, built this community. And, I think that's important to me, at least, that we continue that and be there for them. That's, a kid falls on his bike and cracks his head open. It's not just the tourists. And he has stats, I think it was 30% of his calls? Not the sheriff,
It was
but-
lower than I thought it was.
Yeah, and those, they're starting to do this. So yes, we are the people at Grays and Torreys, but the locals are needing services more than.
I think, putting that information forefront, I think is going to be really key.
the really important thing, especially for the fire, this is very true for the fire department, more true than any of the other emergency responders, is we design that system for a structure fire. When we're thinking about the number of people we need on a team at any given moment, it's how many people do we need to be able to get to a structure fire quickly with enough people to do something about it.
Right.
And that doesn't change. The call volume, what they're doing when there's not a fire is less important than having a fire department that has enough people that can get there fast enough to stop your home from being lost.
I mean, how many people's lost their homeowner's insurance? Right, that's another one that, fire mitigation. We would like to get them some money so that they can go out and educate. Maybe you have a neighbor that should be cutting down his trees, and maybe he's too old and he can't, to get him the help, and just, this is like a whole package deal, and it is mostly for the locals.
I know when I was doing the volunteer fire service thing, it got to be super wearing on those of us that were doing that service, that we were having to go help the ambulance carry people out, or, all of these other calls that had nothing to do with fire. Almost like the allocation of resources was a little bit wonky. I don't know, like it got a little bit worked out, but that was very taxing on us. Get up at 12 o'clock at night, thinking you're a firefighter, but you're helping, which is great, you're helping the community, but
And the training.
is that a
requirements, et
firefighter
cetera,
thing?
There's a lot that has caused volunteer systems across the country to
Right,
decide we need to hire firefighters.
right.
And we've made that decision too.
Mhm.
I think in terms of a campaign, what you'll see is firefighters talking about the services they offer. Like what happened with the library district, right? The staff talking about what the service is, and then campaign volunteers talking about what it looks like to pass a campaign and the kind of support that they're gonna need from people. And you all as individuals are very much invited to contribute your thoughts and your energy to success. And as a board, you're very, very much invited to proclaim support for this, should it get on the ballot. Technicality.
I do want to thank you all. We are creeping into our next meeting. So unless there are any
Thank you.
other questions or.
Do you want to do 30 seconds on DLD, or should we put that for next?
What did you guys want to know about DLD?
Say,
I think Brian
And
gave us an
Brian was able to
update.
give us-
They asked me
We
one
had the
day,
flashlight in his eyes.
Give them an update on the Safer Streets grant and the.
Oh, okay, yeah, because not much has changed.
Okay.
That study was completed in April, I think, and.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
We
you.
always appreciate seeing.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
So everyone's for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Flanagan? Yes. Kate? Yes. King? Yes. McHugh?
So, yes.
Yes.
I know.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes.